I see you every Saturday. If you watch the Track Star show, this is my guy, Plain James. We've been there tossing topics around. But I want everybody to get your story, bro. Just start off, man. What was it like growing up being Plain James?
Man, so growing up in my household, man, I had a mom who had a relationship with the Lord. So early on, man, going to church on Sunday morning was a normal thing for me.
Okay.
I had to go to church. Like, no matter what I went out and did that Saturday night before, no matter what you did, when you got back home, you had to, full well you had to go to church. The early service said that, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's what it was like as far as with my mom. My dad, my father, he was someone who said he believed in God, but he really wasn't attending church like that, so it was really my mom who was the primary, the one who was pushing church or whatnot. And at that time, you go to Bible study, different things, you remember scriptures and things like that, but I didn't really know what it meant to really have a relationship with God. At that point, it was just some scripture to remember and a bunch of rules they said we're supposed to live by. But I didn't understand what it generally meant to live for the Lord for real.
Gotcha.
So as I got older, I'm outside, like where I'm outside at, the east side of Atlanta. You see a little bit of everything from violence to drugs, you name it, anything that you would normally see in an urban environment. And those things were appealing because you look at your situation, like nobody where I stayed was just rich. They weren't flat poor, but they weren't rich either, so it was things that we all wanted. And the things that we wanted, the people who were doing certain things were getting those things and some. So those things were appealing to me. I played sports early on. I played basketball, football, baseball, really leaned into football, and then eventually just strictly basketball. So that was the thing that was really keeping me out the mix all the way for real. Because I was focused on playing basketball so much. I'm usually at school, high school, practicing middle school, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But when I'm not at school, I'm in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I'm head first into everything the streets had to offer. So eventually, when basketball fizzled out, I was going to school, trying to go to school at West Georgia University or whatnot. I was in college, but nothing really appealed to me at that point. And also when you're in school, you broke, you know what I'm saying? So some of the things I dabbled in back in the day when I was in the neighborhood, I seen the opportunity for those things present. While I was there, 18-year-old man, I'm like, sure, we're trying to make some money. So what eventually happened was the money started coming so fast. When they say the devil will take you farther than you want to go, keep you longer than you want to stay. Wow. Next thing you know, I'm making a little money here, a little money there. Then it just turned into a full situation. You know what I'm saying? I know people locally where I went to school at. My homeboys back from home, they were coming down, doing this and that. So it was a lot, and school wasn't even an option. I would work a temp service job here and there just because it was the smart thing to do. Yeah. I found myself just head first, you know what I'm saying, just living that life. Like I said previously, I was playing sports and I dabbled and dabbled in it, but at this point with sports out of the way, it was just all that. And along with that life comes everything you would expect, anything from home invasions to shootouts to you name it. A lot of stuff I probably won't even say online for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, anything you can imagine, you know what I'm saying, it come along with all of that. And during this time, I had started dating this girl, and her roommate's brother happened to be young Noah, you know what I'm saying? So around town, I would see Noah. He would give me his CD, whatever he was doing, Christian rap and all that stuff. I was like, that's cool. That's what's up. And then I see him, then I wouldn't see him for a while. In between that time at this temp service job, I was working with this guy named Alex. And I was doing secular music and doing all kind of stuff. I had opportunities coming up. And the dude Alex was like, man, you talented, man, but God want to use your talents and your gifts. And he played a CD for me. And the CD that he played, it was The Truth. I forgot which. It might have been the Faith album that The Truth had.
Yeah.
He played the Truth album, and I was like, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? That was being somebody who wasn't really living that life, it sounded, I could tell he could rap, but I really couldn't identify with everything that he was saying because that just wasn't my life at the time. And he was trying to plant a seed and witness to me. And then weird thing about that, I went to another temp service job, met a Hispanic guy. I can't remember his name to this day. Fresh out the penitentiary. you know, and he like on fire for the Lord. And
Wow.
he was like, man, he said, bro, man, God want to use you, man. I could tell, man, God want. I'm like, man, what's this? Everybody saying, you know. And when you were younger and you were a kid and stuff, and you're in programs and you remember stuff, everybody say, oh man, God gonna use you, you're a mighty man of God. This, but you like, okay, everybody gonna say that, especially when it's your parents and stuff.
Yeah.
So this guy was telling me, man, he was like, man, don't go down the road you're going, man. Let God use you, this and that. So there's two guys that said that. And he played some music for me. He played the truth. It was a whole nother album. So I'm like, where everybody playing me this guy? Like, who is this guy?
And wait, real quick. What time was this? What's the time like year and the time of you starting to get people to tell you that God got a call on your life, and then also hearing the truth? Like, what was the time?
I was working the temp service job. I had been in the street for a little minute. And this was probably around, if I can remember, probably around 2003, 2004, the first time somebody told me that.
Gotcha.
All right. And then so the second guy, this is around, 2005, 2006, So
yeah.
He had told me that, we both ended up getting fired from the job. I had temp service do, they use you up for their job, they let you go.
Yeah.
And then, for the next few years, I was just still, doing my thing or whatever. I remember how awkward it was that both of them two guys from two different worlds played me this guy's music. But, neither here nor there. I continued on, you know what I'm saying, doing what I was doing. And I would have moments where I just felt like, okay, man, I could feel like something was tugging on me. Yeah. And one time I went to visit a church. And, at this time I had dreads, I'm smoking weed, so I'm coming in church. I'm looking like everything that shouldn't be in church. So I I go up to the front, try to get some prayer with them. And when I go up to get some prayer, the dude who praying for me, he pushed me in my forehead and told me to lean back. And I'm like, man, I'm real. So I'm like, man, I ain't got time for this. So I didn't lean back. So everybody else still standing up. Everybody else laid out. I'm the only one still standing up. And I'm like, man, he's muscle. He pushed me in my head. I say, bro, ain't nothing make me pass out. I ain't gonna lean back. So at that point, they're looking at me like I'm just rebellious. So I got some kind of spirit on me or something. And they were really just faking. You know what I'm saying? But, so after that, I was like, man, I believe God real, but I don't know. I don't know about these guys. I don't know about these guys. So, I went on a little run and back out where I was at, and then God started dealing with me for real. I remember my homeboys, I was telling, I was like, man, it's time for me to change my life, man. I want to do something different. And I'm
going to ask you, I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off. What is it about the trap that makes it so interesting to people that like you said, you was like, I got in it and I jumped like I just got all the way in it. Is it the money? Is it the girl? What does the trap provide that will like catch young Black, African American, or Hispanic or white men about that life?
So if you want to think about it from a more like psychological aspect, a lot of men have insecurities. A lot of men come from situations where they're damaged emotionally. You got parents who are doing the best they can, no fault of theirs, but the way they were raised, it might be passing down certain traumas. You know what I'm saying? The things you see and the things you introduce to, like even people who have the greatest home, you know what I'm saying? Like it's something in you that's probably broken at some capacity. It's a need for affirmation. Some people deal with low self-esteem. Some people just feel I don't know, like something is missing. So when you out there in the streets, for one, you making money. It's just the speed in which you can make the money. That's the main motivation for people who really in it for real. And then things come along with it, like popularity and money and the opportunity to buy certain things. But for me, I never really was in it. That's how my name was Plain James. I did some stunting here and there. I wasn't just always just super low key, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't as flamboyant and showing off like my counterparts, so I was more low key. I was like, I'm trying to make money. I'm not trying to let everybody know I'm making money. But I think that's the draw. I think if you got somebody who got low self-esteem, you got somebody who come from a situation where they don't have much, you got somebody who just have anything broken or damaged from them mentally or emotionally, and then you live going to this lifestyle where it seems as if you can obtain everything that your heart desires, not spiritually, but tangibly. You start looking at it like, man, it's worth the risk. And
is the money really that good? Like honestly, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're doing, but from like a local dope boy standing on the corner getting it, is it really like? Cause I remember one time I heard a guy say, he's like, man, really, it's really minimum wage. You really making minimum wage in a day, though. You know what I'm saying? Versus like over 2 weeks you get the check and then but you're really making minimum wage. You know what I'm saying?
Just like anything else, it's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? It's levels to it. So okay. I would say this: the person that you see standing out on the curb like that, it really depends on what kind of trap you got. You know what I'm saying? Where you at? Typically, the guy who's standing outside, he's either a worker or a middleman for the most part. So he's making some money, but he's not like a plug or nothing like that. So you got people who like the plug or the people who really own, who put everybody else on. They're making money, but like you a middleman or somebody who you the man between the man or something like that, like you making decent money. You probably make more than you'll make at a typical dead end job or average job. But it's not enough money to where it's gonna change your life for real unless you really locked in for real. And the reason why I say that is a lot of times people in their life have bad spending habits. You know what I'm saying? Like just as fast as the money come in, you're gonna go out. You're gonna spend it on eating out every day. You're gonna spend it on outfits and shoes and cars and rims at that time, and traveling and So unless you like the man for real, which everybody's not, a lot of guys try to make it seem like they were just the man in the streets, like they were just the plug, like they were just and it ain't really gonna be like that. Like for me, I made decent money, but I wasn't the man. Like I wasn't making more money than anybody. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't out here just like Al Capone. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't and everybody wasn't no gangster. I'm not no gangster. I ain't no killer. I ain't none of that. I was just somebody out there who wanted to make some money. But the thing about it is when you step into the devil playground, you don't make the rules. You know what I'm saying? You gotta play by the rule that's already established. So a lot of times you might have to do some things that's pretty much out of your character. In order to thrive or in order to make it or either have respect, you know what I'm saying?
So what is it to somebody that's like you saying the devil's playground? What does that look like? What is the rules that's already set that people that, and I'm not trying to like negotiate, but my thing is I want people to hear I think the hip hop world does a great job at glamorizing it, right? But I want the hard truths. I want you to tell somebody who may come across this and be like the hard truths about the trap that they don't tell you on rap songs. They don't show you in movies, and you know what I mean? What's the playing in the devil's playground? What does that look like? You know what I mean?
All right. So you in this area. It's an area, compact area, your neighborhood, your community, whatever. Everybody's competing, trying to be the top guy. Everybody's trying to make money. Everybody has a small mentality of, I'm just worried about me. I don't care about nobody else. So what happens is that breeds jealousy, that breeds unhealthy competition, that breeds violence. People getting robbed, people getting killed. You name it. Anything that jealousy, greed, selfishness, at the root of every sin is selfishness. So selfishness, greed, you name it, all that's going to be involved. Even if you're the most laid back, chill dude, think you're going to eventually somebody going to look at you, they're going to want what you got. Like it's a dog eat dog world. So when you look at these songs and these videos and they glamorize and you seeing the change, you see this and that, you're looking at somebody, they're really in the streets for real. They don't have no peace of mind. Every time they step out their house, they don't know what's next. They don't know if the police coming to get them. You don't know if somebody coming to try to rob you. You don't know if somebody trying to come kill you. You just don't know. Like you might be going to drop something off. You could be pulled over and then that's your future. You know what I'm saying? You might be trying to make a little play, make a move here and there. And the person that you're trying to make a move with might want your money and the dope. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a lot. It's just a lot of uncertainty. There's no stability. There's no peace of mind in that. And so they make it seem like they just living their life doing this and doing that. But most of the time, like it's a paranoid lifestyle. Like it ain't nothing cool about it for real. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no peace of mind. And like we talked about, the money that you get most of the time, unless you really locked in and you really, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're really trying to get after it, you know what I'm saying? Like the money ain't really worth it. But as we all know, they say, well, more money come more problems. The more money you got, more eyes on you. You know what I'm saying? More jealousy. So it's like it's levels. And
Do
then
you
also, the more money you get, the deeper you are in the street. So the deeper you are in, the more it's going to take for you to get out. Because think about it. If I'm making thousands of dollars with you, and then all of a sudden, you know my operation, you know how I move, and then you come and tell me like, hey, man, I'm done, man. I don't feel like doing it no more. But you know all my dirt. You know everything I got going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you don't got stopped by the police, or I don't know if you snitching. I don't know what's up. So I feel uncomfortable. So you think I'm going to just let you just walk the streets and just, nah. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff you got to think about. The deeper you in, the harder it is to get out. And that's what I saw. So I always try to keep myself at a certain level where folks were like, man, turn up, man. You can get more money than what you get. And I was like, man, I'm straight. Which really was God dealing with me then, really showing me like, man, this ain't even the life for you for real. You ain't even all the way in like that. You halfway. And that's the way to get hurt for real too. You halfway in. You know what I'm saying?
Did you feel like that money was like, because you talked about being in college, you talked about school, you talked about that. Did you ever feel like, man, school could possibly be something way better than this? Or was the money so appealing that you were like, I need to get to it? You know what I mean?
See, I was going to school just to play basketball anyway. And so I really never really was a fan of school anyway. So for school, they wanted me to red shirt for basketball, which pretty much means like you on the roster, you got your year eligibility still. You still got to go to practice. You still got to do whatever. And at that time, being proud, so I'm looking like, man, I'm better than folks on the team. You want me to red shirt? I was like, man, I wasn't feeling it. You know, you had to earn the scholarship and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I wasn't feeling it. So that was the only reason I was at school anyway. I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. I had no passion for college. This one of those things where your family like, man, you can graduate college. You can do this and do that. I always been somebody who really was just trying to make money for real. I was like, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna do whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was at school. For me, it wasn't a thing with school with the way out. For me, I really was lost, just to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew I didn't want to go to school. I'm working these dead-end little jobs, temp service jobs you work for a few weeks and they lay you off. Trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So at one point, I did go to automotive school. I took automotive technology. So I took some of those classes. I finished a lot of that. I didn't finish the whole program, but I finished most of the sections in that. Just so I could try to have something under my belt. And I worked at auto parts for like 12 years. But I was still, you know, doing my thing or whatever. Sometimes even while I was at the job, you know what I'm saying? I was doing that. But I really was lost. I really didn't have no sense of purpose. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life for real. Now, I'm smart enough to know, like, you know, I wasn't all the way in the streets like that to think I was going to do that for life. So I was really kind of at a place where like a desert, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm too smart to believe that this right here going to be the rest of my life, but I'm not really feeling school like that. So let me just try to find a good job. Or, you know, I was just really lost for real.
So did you? So even God had His heart on you, going to a point where you were like not even thinking about God, but you knew like this got to be something better than this. You know what I mean?
Yep. See, it was like you know how we got this cultural Christianity we have today where people say they believe in God, but they're doing everything outside the will of God. It was like me. Like I told you, I grew up in a household where that seed was planted. Like, if you would have asked me during that time that I believe God was real, I would say most certainly I believe that God is real. I wasn't living for God, but I believed He was real. Even times when I tell folks, I talked about it on the show that one time where we would have Bible study. Me and my homeboy Enrique and Z would have Bible study. And we'd be in that mud smoking weed, you know what I'm saying, looking at the Bible and stuff, you know. And it was a form of godliness, but, you know, it wasn't really there. But God was dealing with me in His own way.
Yeah.
And it was a few experiences I remember that really clearly showed me that, okay, maybe it's time to go a different direction.
What was that? What was that like final draw? I know you've told me kind of the story behind the scenes, but what was that final draw of saying, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to God. Like I'm really going, you know what I'm saying? What was that final straw?
So it was a couple of things. So one was some of my homeboys, man, I was with every day. Everybody started going to prison and all this kind of stuff. And I was already pulling back a little bit when I started seeing that. And it was fluke ways they were going to prison. You know what I'm saying? People were telling on them or, you know.
Oh, man.
Or just riding around. I just knew it was just crazy ways where I knew like, hey, who am I to think it won't happen to me?
Yeah.
So I was still dabbing here and there, but I went all the way in. And I was doing music with one of my homeboys. And so my music at that time, I was in this group called Money Mob. So Money Mob, when I was like, that was my wild, reckless kind of young years. And then I switched up to more like an Outcast, kind of like, we were like on some, we were still ratchet, but like on some more conscious type music. And I was in the studio with my homeboy Cole. We were a group and we were doing some writing. It was a battle rapper by the name of Sirius Jones. And and so he had the same manager he had was plugged into our manager. They were cool. So we was all in the studio together and just trying to see if we can come up with some hooks or, something like that. Cause battle rappers, they can rap, but when it came down to writing songs, a lot of times that's not really their strong suit.
Yeah.
I remember being in the studio and a guy came in, the real dark guy came in and he had a bandana tied around his neck and the bandana said El Diablo on that mug. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know a whole lot of Spanish. You feel me? But I know El Diablo. Yeah, I know that means the devil. You feel me? So I'm looking at this mug. I'm like, this man got the devil on. You know what I'm saying? So and he was like, hey man, y'all talented, but if y'all want to go to the next level, I need y'all to be. In other words, he was like, I need y'all to be more ratchet or be more,
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh man, you want to wait now to try to act like you want to back off? This is the second time that happened. Because I with the Money Mob dudes, I was telling them, man, I want to chill out on it. They were upset. And so this time, they were like, man, you want to wait till we get to this point now and say you don't want to do it? But homeboy was real mad at me for real. He was mad at me until like a few years ago. We cool now, but he was telling me like, man, you kind of upset me, man. But I understand. I respect where you at now. I see what God doing. But they were like, man, you need to be over there with TD Jason, Ken Jones, and them. But at this time, keep in mind, I didn't even know who TD Jason, Ken Jones was for real. But my homeboy was saying, I'm like, who was that? He's like, man, they do Christian stuff. I was like, bro, I ain't on that. I'm just saying, if somebody got something to say the devil on, I mean, come on, bro. You feel me? So that right there kind of fills it out. And my producers, all that stuff was gone. So I had lyrics and stuff. And what I would do is a place called the Apache in Atlanta. And I would take the lyrics and I would just recite them like poems and just perform at the Apache on Sundays. And then I just started getting put on events at the Apache, you know what I'm saying, around the city and stuff. I really just read my raps without beats and they thought it were poems and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing that and still in the streets. I had, matter of fact, one of my guys at that time who I was fooling with, I would meet him there and then we would do whoop and then I'll move out. And so after that happened, that's when I was out with one of my homeboys and then we got into like a shootout situation over something stupid.
Oh man.
It was something stupid. And I remember doing that. I'm looking like, man, I can be out here and get shot and killed over something stupid. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like in the midst of it.
Okay, what's that like? What is being in a shootout like? Like, are you like paranoid or are you like, I'm busting back, they busting back? Like, is that like
it's terrifying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I mean, because some people like I ride or die, so it is what it is.
Oh yeah, man. When you're there, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but you realize it's a life or death situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that's what people fail to realize, man. Like, fear doesn't always mean like, oh man, I'm cowering down. It's like it's a healthy fear of like, look, these folks shooting at us. Like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get out of here and make it home. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it was like that, and but it comes with the territory. Like, you know, that once again, those are the kind of things that possibly could happen when you're dealing with that lifestyle. When I woke up that morning, I had no idea that was gonna happen. You feel me? But here we are. You know, so I'm looking at the situation like, man, it's crazy. So after that, it probably like 6 to 8 months after that, that's when I ran into Noah again. And, and Noah, he came over to the spot that I was living at, that I was staying at. This was around like 2009. And Noah was like, man, I know what's going on over here, man. God trying to use you, man. Let God use you, did this and that. And then probably about 3 weeks after that happened, the spot that I was staying in, it got raided by the police. You know, somebody had told on one of my friends, and then the spot got raided. I was on the way back, to the house, and my homeboy girlfriend said, "Don't go back to the house. It just got raided." So I pulled into the grocery store down the street from the house, and I seen like all the ATF cars and all that stuff drive by. And if you ever seen the house get raided by the police, like they don't care about what you got going on. We had dogs; they was all running down the street. They kick your door out, the furniture flipped over. They looking for any and everything.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? So, I remember standing in the living room with me and my homeboy, and then I went in my room. I looked how they flipped my TV over, and I was just looking for whatever. And
so you went back to the trap house after they left and raided it just to see what like the damage they did to the house?
Because really at that point, it's a rule that you don't do. You know what I'm saying? You never do that way you live. But we were renting the house out to somebody we know. So my name went on no lease or nothing like that, but that's where I was at. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So I went back there, seen my stuff, this and that. And I was in my room. That's when it's like something hit me. What I know now to be the Holy Spirit was just like, this is your life. Like, it's gonna be a continuous downward spiral unless you make some changes. So that's when I started kicking it with Noah. He introduced me to some other believers, and then I started building fellowship like that. And then I just grew from there.
So what was your point of salvation? Like, what was like? Did you go to a church and you go up, or was it something like young Noah started ministering you, and then y'all started praying? And you know,
when I was a kid, like I said, I didn't know what it mean to really have a real relationship. Obviously, you can tell how I was living. I got baptized when I was like 10. You know what I'm saying? So, so that's all I knew. But I started going to Noah's church, and so I was going to church with him. I got baptized again, rededicated my life to the Lord. That was in like 2009. But then as we were going to that church, I met a pastor for the church I go to now, and I just really connected with him. No disrespect to the pastor that was at the church I was at, but it was like a disconnect. When I was listening to the word, I didn't really feel like it really fit, you know, what I needed. I'll say it like that. It really was what I needed. So when I met this pastor, well, the vibe was cool, but he happened to make beats, and he rapped, he did hip hop. So I'm like, cool, you know. So I started kicking it with him or whatever. I visited the church a couple of times, and I was like, okay, this is a spot for me. So I found out he made beats, whatever. So I'm going to the house. I'm like, man, let me hear some of your tracks. So he let me record. I was rapping, you know what I'm saying? Like doing like trying to do well before that. When I met Noah and them, they were like, man, you need to do Christian rap, man, because they heard some of my old music. And I was like, man, nah, I don't want to come in and just start rapping something I ain't living for real. So I chilled out, and then eventually I put a couple songs out with them, and they were like, yeah, bro, you need to do this. And
was this the same? I'm sorry, was this the same time that young Noah was signed to Flame?
No, this was before that.
Gotcha.
Noah was a part of something called Real Life. It was him and a few other guys. They had a group called Real Life Entertainment.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was during that time. And and then after that, so during that time, when I made a few songs with, and then me and Noah, we came up with something called Dirty Work Ministries, because me and Noah vibed together because our background was similar.
Gotcha.
People even said we looked alike. That was just my homeboy, you know what I'm saying? That was like the person I really had locked arms with when I came into the faith. And we had something called Dirty Work Ministries. But eventually, also during that time, that's when I met this pastor. I'm recording with him, and I decided I want to go to that church. And really, we recorded a song, but he really was discipling me for real, because I had to come to his house like 3 or 4 times a week, make music, but we breaking bread, talking about life, talking about the word. And he really was discipling me during that time, like 2009, early 2009, like through the rest of that year. And so I put out a couple mixtapes, like underground mixtapes or whatever that did well. And me and Noah, we were traveling, we were doing shows, before Flame and all that. We were traveling around doing shows, doing things. And then while we were doing Dirty Work Ministry, that's when Flame started Clearside, and he was like, man, send your demos in. And Noah sent his demo in, and out of everybody's CD, I don't know how it happened, because he had the P.O. box that Flame said that the CD is supposed to go to. His CD was the only one that went directly to Flame house. So Flame was like, dang, bro, how you get my personal address? You know what I'm saying? And no, like, I didn't have it. I just sent it in. So they broke bread. So Noah ended up getting signed to Clearside. I'm doing Dirty Work. I had 2 of my other homeboys, Stump and Trail. We picked up and we kept doing our thing. Like that, doing Dirty Work. And then after Noah and the Noah and the Flame situation ended, Noah came back, We were doing dirty work, and then Noah got signed again for some people. He out there touring with the Newsboys and all that kind of stuff. He was just on the go.
What was that like? Like your friend signed to a Christian label. Did you go on tour with him? Was that like, you're seeing like, man, this is different. You know what I mean? Did you? How was the Christian industry back then? Like for you, like as somebody new getting into it, you know what I mean? What was that like?
It was new to me because I never really knew it existed on that level. You know what I'm saying? When I first met all these guys, they were showing me like videos from like Lecrae and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I didn't grow up around that, so I didn't really know who these guys were. But I remember them showing me Thizzle. And Thizzle was Chronicles of an Ex-Hustler he came out with. That's the project he had out at the time.
Yeah.
And that was the product. That was the first Christian rap CD that really connected with me when I was like, oh man, like I can get with this. And
Gotcha.
And so I really never knew what was happening on that level. Then he gets signed to Flame. I really didn't know who they were like that, but he gets signed to Flame. And, him and Flame would have shows. They'll bring me out with them sometimes. Noah would have his own shows. I would travel with him and do shows. I'm like, dang, like folks actually bringing us out and paying us to do Christian rap. You know what I'm saying? So, and a piece of me had to mature because you got to think I'm still coming from the street. I still got a hustler mentality. So, if I'm honest, I think it was a time early on in my ministry where I was serious about sharing the word. But because I had that hustler mentality, I'm looking like, shoot, I can make money off of this. That was a part of my motivation as well, if I'm honest.
Oh, wow.
Being real.
Yeah.
So, everybody had that dream at some point. Oh, this is what I want to do for a living. This is what I want, and you got to be careful with that because it'll taint your motives. You feel me? So,
yeah. Was that something where you looked at the Christian industry, like once you found out that you could kind of like make a living off of it? Was that something that you saw other Christian rappers like they were saying they wanted to praise the Lord, but they really wanted to do what you just said?
Yeah, I seen some guys who were really about the money, like for real, like you know what I'm saying. Like for us, I'm trying to do ministry. I'm like, oh man, we can get paid for doing this. Cool, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
Yeah. It
was some guys I seen where it was just like. And I could be wrong. Only God knows the heart of man. But just the way they acted, the way they treated promoters, the way they talked to people, it was just like, I'm here to get my check and go home. You feel me? So I seen a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was the biggest at the time payout that you got doing a show like that blew your mind? Like what was something that you like?
Somebody paid me?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, somebody wrote me a check for $1,500 one time, and I had rap for 20 minutes, and they paid me $1,500. I'm like, shoot, $1,500 in 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, that's some good money. You feel me?
Nah, it is. That's like a check. That's like a paycheck.
Yeah, that's better than your paycheck. I don't know nobody who made $1,500 in 20 minutes legally. You feel me? So that was a pretty substantial payment.
Yeah. Did you have anything like when it comes to honorariums and like when you talk to people in the Christian hip hop space, do you feel like that's something that is important to have, or do you feel like sometimes you should have that open heart, or do you feel like artists that take that serious looked as serious if you have an honorarium versus like somebody that got to contact you like how much is this or whatever, you know what I mean?
So I say this, I don't think you should be strictly about the money. It shouldn't just be strictly business,
Yeah.
I think as a believer, if you want to say this is a craft or however you want to look at it, you're not nobody pastor with it. However you want to look at it, you're a believer and you got the Holy Spirit, hopefully. So I feel like, if you invest a certain amount of money into your craft, into your setup and everything that you're doing, and you know what it takes in order for you to keep on going and doing what you're doing, I don't feel like nothing wrong with asking for a certain amount to keep what's going to be professional. If you feel like you put the investment in to ask for a certain amount of return, I don't feel like nothing wrong with that. Me personally, from my experience, and some people say I'm crazy. I've done a lot of free shows. I'm not in the business of doing free shows now, unless I'm really truly led by the Spirit. But if somebody booked me, like it's out of town. I was talking to somebody today. I was like, man, I asked for travel, which is like a flight, a nice hotel, and just give me a love offering, whatever the Lord put in your heart. That's what I asked for. you know, and
Really?
and being real, like shoot, that's actually worked better for me than asking for a certain amount. If you want to talk about just the money,
Yeah.
because I look at it like for the most part, I'm not going to do a show if I don't feel like I'm supposed to go anyway. A lot of folks just hop on the boat and just do show, whatever. Like,
Got you.
I've turned down events sometimes because I didn't feel led to go. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I learned that early on. You can't just get up and just go everywhere because sometimes you don't need to be there. So I actually pray about this stuff before I go somewhere. You know, so just because it's an opportunity, I'm not so in love with a stage that I'm gonna take every single opportunity that come my way.
Got you.
So I feel like if I'm led to go, I'm gonna leave it in the Lord's hands. You know.
Yeah. Where did Trap Theology come from? Like, where did you come up with that? And then, like, how did that like change everything for you? Was that a dependent, like a turning point for you in your Christian rap career? That Trap Theology?
Yeah, that was the major turning point. So like I told you, Flame situation. Noah situation with Flame at ended. He came back. We were doing dirty work, but then Noah got signed with a company called First Company out of Nashville, and it was him and Ty Brazel, and you know, they were doing their thing, and Noah was touring with like Audio Adrenaline and the Newsboys and doing all that kind of stuff. And this was around 2014, 2015, and I remember just landing in bed. You know those nights like 3 in the morning when you get up, just on your mind they tell you supposed to pray, and, you know. And during that time, and even to this day, I still got homeboys who still active, and my heart is always just wanting to reach them or reach anybody and just share the word with them. So I was like, Lord, just give me something I could do to reach my homeboys and people like that who are in that situation. Yeah. And I had just learned what the word theology was. You know what I'm saying? Not too long before that, just being real. And I was laying there and I was like, man, we need a theology for the trap. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, Trap Theology. So what I did, I thought I read it by my homeboy Sherrod White. He was like, bro, that sounds dope. So we went to South by Southwest that year. I had like a couple shirts, but I had like one on and it said Trap Theology, black shirt, white ink on it. And people always would just stop me, ask me what it meant. So I was like, you know, theology is the study of God. The trap is anything, you know, so it's keeping you from growing in God, whether it's lust, greed, pride, selfishness, whatever it is. Like when you find out who God truly is, you find freedom for whatever how you trap. So I was essentially just witnessing to people, and people kept asking. So I was like, man, I might be on to something. So I came home. I made an album. The album was called Trap Theology. That was in 2015. I dropped that album, and man, I was getting booked more than I ever was. The shirt was selling more than I could ever imagine. And it turned from being an album, and then it was like, man, I realized this is more than just an album or a T-shirt. This is a ministry. That's when I really went full on with just Trap Theology as a ministry. In 2015, I put out Trap Theology 2 in 2017, and that was the project that really just took me to, at that time, which was the height of, you know what I'm saying, my music, where I was touring more than ever, doing more events more than ever. Me and Noah went on a 80 city tour that year.
Oh, wow.
Between, you know, his success, you know, touring and doing the things he was doing, and then me on the underground level, but I had some spots for people who were rocking with me and stuff. We put that together and we did 80 cities in 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
so I have a question real quick, and I always like to hear, like, I had Jafar Life on here, and I remember him talking about he had an album out before he signed with a label, and he was like, that album independently did very well. What's doing very well independently for like a Christian rapper, in your opinion?
So for me, I mean, I had my stuff on DSPs and stuff, but I never really been somebody who you'll look on SoundScan and you'll see crazy sales, or you look on Spotify and stuff and see like super crazy streams. Because I know some of these young guys now, they have like 1 million streams in 2 months, you know, so I never had nothing like that. So it's kind of hard for me to really say from that experience. But for me, at that point, CDs were still prevalent. So, you know, I'm out the trunk with CDs, you know, so I'm on my Master P grind, you know what I'm saying? Like, $10 a CD.
Yeah.
You got to think, like, every show I'm going through 50, 60 CDs, You know, like $10 a CD.
Yeah.
We doing 80 shows. You do the math. Not include, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not even include t-shirt sales, and that's not even including your honorarium. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
wow. And that's something that like even with your shirts, like was your merch on point at that time too? I mean, it's on point now, but like, did you know, like, yo, the design for the Trap Theology got to look like? I mean, in essence, somebody could have been like, yo, man, I'm just gonna put Trap and Theology, but you got like a house, you got like a trademark symbol. Like, did you think all that through when you first came up with the Trap Theology?
So this is something new. This came out in the last few years. That time, I just had all I had was the words Trap Theology and the typewriter font. I had a trademark, which I had a trademark, of course. White typewriter font. Put it on the black shirt, and it just popped. That's all I had, bro.
Wow.
It was, and to be real with you, it was all God. There's no way I can sit here and tell you honestly that I thought, man, once I put this Trap Theology and this typewriter font on this black shirt, it's gonna go crazy. I had no idea. But that's how I know God gave it to me. Just how everything, like to this day, like 10 years later, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still going. You know, that's how I know it came from God. You know what I'm saying? It was times when I wasn't doing nothing. And God still had some stuff going. Like, it's been times when I didn't even, you know, have a website promote that. People just hit me up and ask me, hey, man, you got some kind of merch or something? Like, even when I was in my lowest place, or even when I had lost sight of the vision and all kind of stuff in between time, God was still moving and doing so. It's people who know who Trap Theology is who don't even know who I am.
Wow.
So,
you never wanted to give the shirts to the fathers of trap music and stuff?
You mean like secular artists?
Yeah. Did you ever like did any of that ever come back to them? Like, anybody ever like come to you and like, yo, such and tip want a Trap Theology shirt or Gucci, or
just
like,
being out in the city and being in environments? I done ran into a few rappers here and there. Not like no super famous, but like locally famous, like trap rappers and stuff who with Atlanta, you locally famous, you known for the most part, but they'll see it. They're like, man, that's dope, bro. I like that, man. And they hit you with, man, I pray every day, did this and that. And I gave some folks some shirts. But then, you know, I would give people in the street shirt. I ride back through. They out there selling dope, wearing the shirt. You know, so it's like
that's all like God is dope shirts.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So the seed was planted, but you know, I don't know if that's the representation that I really wanted. You know,
but is that good or bad marketing? Like, I mean, at the same time, it's like, yo, that shirt is.
It's good in a way because when they asked them who made, like, they were like, "What that shirt about, man? This God right here, man. Hey, man." But this up like, God bless the trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was on that, but it worked both ways. But you know, my mindset is I can't save nobody. I can't save everybody. All I can do is plant a seed of water seed. This God provide the increase. So I don't know what kind of fruit that bear. You don't always get to see the fruit to come from.
Yeah.
You gotta just be obedient, you know.
But would you be upset if you watching a video and you see Gucci with a Trap Theology shirt, or if you see Future with a Trap Theology shirt on, would you be like, yo, or would it be like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
If they know what it means, I wouldn't mind seeing them wear. If they don't know what it means, they just think it's just something like a regular shirt, but they don't understand the meaning behind it, then I wouldn't be happy about it. I'm not one of those people, if I just see a famous name just wearing my stuff or whatever, it wouldn't just make me excited if they don't know the meaning, because if they still don't get it, it's like it defeats the purpose. My whole purpose is to reach people and enlighten them on their lifestyle and show them the perils of their lifestyle and show them how God is better. So if you don't get that from anything that I'm presenting, then it's pointless.
Yeah, it'd be the equivalent to, like, I remember at back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, it was a website called xxchurch.com, and they were trying to help people get away from porn and stuff like that. Right. And they had a shirt that said Jesus loved porn stars. And in my mind, I'm like, because they were going to conventions, they were going to different places, like sharing the word of God to porn stars and people in the adult industry. And in my mind, I was like, yo, that's kind of dope. But then my thing would be like, well, what if you saw that in like a scene, somebody's scene, they got that shirt on? It's like, oh,
right.
Like,
you understand I'm a porn star and he still loves me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, anything can go that way. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta just be obedient. You know what I'm saying? And just do what you're supposed to do and let God filter the rest of it out. You know, hopefully the truth becomes the light. But you know,
got you. So after Trap Theology, what was next for you? You said like it sounded like you said something where you was like, man, would you letting this Christian hip hop life get to you a little bit? Because it sounded like you were saying like, yo, I fell away or I did something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So not even more so like the Christian rap music, like my shirts were selling so crazy.
Yeah.
That I kind of lost sight that Trap Theology was a ministry, and I started treating it like a clothing line.
Oh, wow.
And then COVID happened, and a lot of my homeboys, Noah and Sherrod, and a few other people I know, you see them all online, CJ King and them boys, like they were doing very well with their merchandise during COVID, and I knew I had a product that people like, and I'm thinking like, well, shoot, hey, I'm gonna do this, but then God hit me with like, nah, like don't sell no shirts. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I'm sitting there watching folks make, like I said, real good money. You feel me?
Yeah. I remember CJ King getting it. Like he was telling us, hey, I'm getting
I
it.
if I could watch it or nothing, but he's my homeboy. I know what's going on. You feel me? So and I know how they were doing it. You know, so I knew the model, and I was able to. I would have been able to do it, but God was just like, nah, I don't want you to sell nothing. And so during that time, that's when I got recentered, and I realized like, okay. Then God hit me with so COVID here, ain't no shows, ain't no events. So I guess you just ain't gonna minister, huh? So that's when I started doing the videos in my car, just sharing a quick word. And then I continue doing that to this day. I did one yesterday. I've been continuing to this day. And the videos in the car, man, it's people between that and being on Trackstar, it's people who won't even know I do music. You know what I'm saying? People yep, they just know me as somebody who just shared a word in a language they can understand.
Did the car theology? I called it that. Did that happen? Like, did that end up helping you go viral on like social media and stuff, or like has that because you do a lot of them and they're very impactful. So do you put them on all the platforms and have you gone viral off those?
Yeah, I put them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
Okay.
For me, it was viral. I don't think it's viral in comparison to what somebody else may call viral, but I got one that's pinned to my Instagram page just talking about the consequences of sin and how we should just normalize it. And it has, I want to say over 10,000 likes and like 100, you know what I'm saying, hundreds of thousands of plays. So to me, that's viral to me. I know some people get millions and stuff like that, but for me, for that many people to hear a message about, not normalizing sin and prioritizing the word of God, I feel like that was pretty good. And like I said, between that and just Track Stars, people follow me. And a lot of times people are not just following me just to follow me. They're hitting me up. They're asking me for prayer. They're asking me Bible questions. People are giving me topics saying, hey, could you do a video on this? And I'm just doing 60-second videos, so.
Yeah. So even like, okay, so COVID happened, pandemic. Did you ever go back? Did you ever want to go back to doing music again? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, was it, I mean, you're doing it, but I'm just saying, did God to give you the go ahead to be like, okay, let's start doing this again?
Yeah. So the last few years I've been on several tours. Shout out to my homeboy 5 out of Texas.
Yeah.
That's like me and him. That's like my bro, man. Me and him, we've toured several times. Within the last, I guess, after COVID ended. So you're looking at about 2022 for real.
Yeah.
So from 2022 to last year, I probably do about 2 or 3 tours a year, and we do about 10 to 12 cities.
Gotcha.
So just relationships that we built over time, and they want us to come back, and we got one plan for the end of the year this year.
What does a Christian hip hop tour look like? Like, what's the break that down? Like, I always wondered about that when people be like, because and the reason I say that is because I remember seeing the Lecrae's on tour, and then I think I saw who else did I see on tour? I think I went to did I go to I can't remember who else, but just I remember or the Truth, or back in the day, Cross Movement was on tour and they came to Atlanta, and I always wonder what does that look like? What does a Christian hip hop tour look like going state to state or city to city?
So it's different. So you looking at Lecrae and what you see with Lecrae and Harvey and these guys and all that, they're doing arenas and all that,
yeah,
that's a tour, where they got tour managers and the green room with, you know what I'm saying, we want X, Y, and Z, we need this, you know what I'm saying, that's a tour, that's a legit tour.
Yeah.
What we doing, It's more like a mission trip. You feel me?
Got you.
It been tours where we had a tour bus where we had beds where we'll sleep on the tour bus with beds and you have a shower on the bus. It's been tours where we were in the passenger van and we slept in the van and we took showers at the truck stop.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, it's a grind. You know what I'm saying? It's tours where we rolled in the van and they provided hotels and stuff for us. You know, it just depends. It's tours where we've been where we know people in every city and we'll stay at the person whoever booked us. We'll stay at their house. Like it's just different ways. You know, it happens different ways. My first tour I ever went on was with my homeboy Jericho. I don't know if y'all know Jericho, white dude with the long dreads.
His name sounds familiar.
Yeah, but he does like country style hip hop music. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Okay.
But my first tour was him, and we were in a Volkswagen stick shift. You know what I'm saying? It was me, him. He had a wife and newborn baby in the car, and we started out in Decatur, Georgia. We drove over we did shows in Shreveport, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, Savannah, all the way down to Okeechobee, Florida, Fort Myers, Florida. We drove all these places in the stick shift Volkswagen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow,
that was my first tour. So yeah, it's like when people hear tour, they automatically think, oh man, he touring it. Like, you know, it ain't always. I seen the good, the bad, and I don't want to say ugly or bad. Really, when I think about it, I seen the glamorous type of tour, but I seen, like I said, for us, most of the time it's like mission trips. I've been to where they fly us to every location. I've been on tour. We had to drive cross country. Like we did a 30-day tour one time. We had the tour bus. We started in Washington State and ended in North Carolina.
Wow, man, wow. What is something that people? What is something that if an artist is watching, it's a Christian hip hop artist, what can they expect about, like you said, going on tour and like something that like not the good, the bad, the ugly, but what's some pointers that you can give them of them going on a Christian hip hop tour? Like if it's not on the level of a Lecrae or that level like you talked about, but it's on like ministry kind of. I don't want to say that because there's ministry too, but just like on a lower level kind of. What can they expect to go on tour? Man,
be prepared for it not to be all about your demands or your comfort. Like it's gonna be some sacrifice.
Wow.
You know? You're not gonna be able to eat when you want to eat all the time. You're not gonna get the sleep that you want to get all the time. Like it's very rarely going to be a set schedule, depending on what cities you got coming up and how y'all got to move. Like, when people book you, they're gonna want to spend time with you. Like they don't want you to show up and rap and leave. They want to spend time with you, break bread and fellowship. So, be prepared for that. It is a real grind for real. It just, like I said, the other tours, without saying like the wrong thing, like they're more glamorous, you know what I'm saying? It's like people are catering to you. You know, and I don't want to make it seem like they don't care about, because they take care of us, like they feed us, they do things for us, like we getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't like we out here just like some slavery type stuff, you know, but we getting paid, but it's just like it's a grind, it's work, it's sacrifice. It's like be prepared to be uncomfortable in a lot of different ways. And then, you know, especially it depends on how many guys on the tour. You know, you got people who married. So if they're away from their wives and stuff, they're gonna be irritated sometimes. They don't want to be around a van full of guys sometimes. They want to be around their wife or their kids or whatever. So you know, you get irritated sometimes. If somebody talking too much, you be like, man, like, you know, somebody have particular habits that you don't care for, you know, you gotta eat it and deal with it, you know. Just like I said, for me, my main thing, I like to eat. So, you know, sometimes you might eat one time a day. Sometimes it might be at the end of the day, you know. So especially dealing with fire, I don't like to eat, it seems like. So
wow, man. That's amazing, man. I think I've always thought about, like, you hear different stories of different people going on tour, and you see like the flyer and you see like, yo, they got dates coming from May all the way into like June, and I'm like, man, that's you know what I'm saying? And I think at the same time, it's like you said, it really take a grind. You know what I mean? Because you know, I remember a story of and this is on the mainstream side of when TDE first started, and they was in New York. They was in a van. He said, like you just said, like they was in a van. This is Kendrick Lamar. This is Ab-Soul. This is J-Rock, Schoolboy Q. They was in a van, and they were doing like a smaller venue. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 500 people in the venue. You know what I'm saying? This is like maybe 2000, late mid 2000s, and of them traveling. And what you described was kind of like their life. So I mean, even if somebody's watching this that's not even a Christian hip hop artist, like independent artists can do what you just said, where it's like, we got shows in this area, we got shows here, we got shows here, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean, I got a little buzz, I got a little following. But at the same time, it's like I'm doing my dream. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what God put in my heart to do, or I'm doing something that I love to do, you know what I mean? And I'm making a living out of it, you know?
That's another thing. Like, that's a good point too. Like, I've done shows in front of 5 people. I've done a show where you know what I'm saying, where the only people that were there were the ones performing, and I've done shows in front of 5,000 people. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So I said it just varies. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you somebody who got a pretty good following, like I know a lot of these young guys, they've been blessed with TikTok and they go viral on TikTok, and so they can set a tour up and like they'll get hundreds of people to come in every city. You know what I'm saying? So that's you know what I'm saying? Like, for us, we show up and we get 40, 50 people. So we feel like that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, in real, some of the most powerful shows have been the ones with like 10 people there, because we were there and it was some people who needed us to be there. God ordained for us to be there to pray for people and you know what I'm saying, to minister to people. Like, so that's why I say it's different things. I think it's a place for all of it. I think it's a place for Christian entertainment.
Yeah.
And if you had like a following like a Lecrae or somebody like that, you know, everybody gonna bombard you and stuff. You're more likely to want to do your show, and then, you know, you'll show your face for a minute, but then dip out, because that can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Some people have. I know a lot of artists who got social anxiety and stuff, so that kind of stuff. Not that they want to be rude, they just overwhelmed by that.
Gotcha.
So I get it, but for us, we get an opportunity. It's almost like a smaller church. It's like you got the mega church, like where everybody not gonna be able to talk to the pastor. But then you got the smaller church where, shoot, you might go to the pastor's house after church and chill. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that dynamic.
Is that a humbling experience, rapping in front of like not a lot of people? Is that like humbling, or is it just like maybe that one person need to hear this song, so let me do my thing?
Yeah, I've seen it all. So it's like in the beginning you don't really understand that, but I've been doing, like I said, for years now. So it's like I've done big crowds, I've done small crowds, you know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like, now I look at now, anytime you represent the Lord, it's a blessing, it's an opportunity. You should be grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, man. So I guess the question is like what was something that like you talked about being and doing the music in front of those smaller crowds being impactful? What's something that, like, a time that happened and you were like, man, this is amazing, like that song changed this person's life, or, you know, give us a story or something like that?
Man, I think one of the most amazing things that happened, I remember we did an outreach. Who wasn't really an outreach, it was a concert at a park, and it wasn't a lot of people out there. We were up in I want to say Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
And an older lady had brought this young girl up to the altar for prayer. And so I asked her, I said, what you need prayer for? She said, everything. I said, oh, okay. That's kind of broad, but you know, I like, here we go. So I'm praying for her, and the Lord start putting, you ever been praying for somebody and the Lord start putting stuff in your mind? You look like, man, I don't know if I want to say this because this could be wrong.
Yeah.
I just felt it strong. So I start praying for like an abusive relationship, suicidal thoughts, depression, discouragement, you know. And so in the middle of my prayer, she stopped me. And she said, wait a minute. She said, how do you know all this? She said, did somebody come and tell you my business? And I was like, man, I'm just a random guy from Atlanta. I don't know you from a bucket of paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being obedient and just praying.
Yeah.
I prayed for it. She broke down crying. And
wow.
So the lady had told me, and she had just told me, she pulled a letter out of her pocket. She was in the park. She was sitting in her car in the park. She was getting ready to kill herself in the park.
Oh man.
She had wrote a farewell letter to her boyfriend because she was in an abusive relationship. She pretty much telling him like the way he was treating her and stuff. She didn't want to live no more. So she had heard the music and the lady had saw her. And the lady said, "Come on over here with us." So when I came in and when I prayed, God gave me what to say to her for prayer. It was exactly what she was dealing with. She was going to kill herself. Wow. And because that at that moment, and because that prayer happened, she knew God was real and that she gave her life to the Lord, and she's still serving the Lord to this day.
Wow, that's amazing, bro. That's what it's all about, right there.
It's crazy, bro. And like it's wild.
Yeah. Did you? I know a question that was one question I was going to ask, but I remember the question. If you had to do a Trap Theology tour with artists that has the same trap sound in Christian hip hop, what would that tour look like? Who would be on that tour? And how many dates? But who would you book it as? Like, who would you put on that tour?
Out of the guys now, who I believe, with that sound. So for me, man, it's gonna be ministry involved. So I'll pick some guys who I know who really got a heart for that. And not to say the other guys don't, but just me and my personal experience.
Yeah.
I definitely put Chris Elijah on there.
Okay.
I would do T-Strike.
Okay.
For far as young guys, it's a lot of dope young guys out here. It's a dude named Blessed 2 Times out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
I would love to have him on something. A dude named OG Bro Mike. I would love to have him on something. Those probably the guys I would rock far like a trap, like straight trap type tour.
Yeah.
Those guys, I know those guys. I know their story. I know their testimony. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they will really connect to the people in that demographic for sure.
Got you. Now, what about an OG Trap Theology tour? Like OG, like the not the new guys, but like the older guys, like your time era of Christian hip hop.
Oh, my time, I would try to get Young Noah on there for sure. My bro, I would get Thizzle on there.
Yeah.
Petty D, the OG food Petty D. Some of these guys, man, I don't know where they at no more. But you gotta be careful, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would definitely get Noah, Thizzle, try to get Petty D. My homeboy Fro, Fro. I would have put him on the current and the OG. Well, that's my dog right there, man. I just started working with him, Fro. My dog Ray Knowledge. I think Ray Knowledge got super dope music for that demographic. Yep, those probably be my guys right there.
Got you. All right, man. Real quick, bro. What made you want to? I mean, you've been fam with us for years and talk to us and everything. What made you be like, yo, man? I want to sit in with Track Stars. What was that like? What made you come to the show and want to chop it up with us?
Man, for one, man, I've respected what you guys have done for a long time. Like, you guys have been some of the most consistent people, not just like far as like podcast. I'm talking about like people, you know what I'm saying? Like who y'all are. Like, anybody who knows you guys always have a pleasant thing to say about you guys. So just having tremendous respect for you guys, and then just coming in, seeing what you guys were about, the heart behind what you're doing, seeing your desire to want to impact the culture with solid biblical concepts and things of that nature. I was like, man, I would love to assist and serve in whatever capacity I could to help. And y'all guys were like, cool, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all welcome me in. And then also just the fellowship. For me, anytime you can just fellowship with a group of solid guys who believe in the Lord, you know, so I see the way y'all guys treat your families. Like, this is some good stand-up all-around guys, you know what I'm saying? Even behind the scenes, Jerry. It's a team of people don't even know about. We are not, matter of fact, the ladies on the call, the guys on the call, everybody are just stand up people. You know, it's like a family environment. So me, man, when I came around, I just had a feeling. I was just like, man, you know, I would love to just serve in whatever capacity I could. So
got you, bro. And we appreciate it, man. You've added so much to the show, man. Like it like normally we have people come, like, and this is after COVID, but like we normally have people come through and they sit in and they talk about something and then we don't see them again or whatever. And you just kept coming back. And I was like, I forgot that you live so close to like Alabama, you told us, or like I was like, and you drive every Saturday morning to get to there, and you know, we're grateful that we're grateful to have you, bro. So yeah, man, thank you for coming through, man.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me, man. Like I say, I don't know, man. This season too, like God has really used that podcast in more ways, just beyond just the fellowship, the community. Even now at my age, I'm still a young man. You know what I'm saying? But at my age, just transitioning. I got a daughter that's 4 years old. You know what I'm saying? So being on the road as much as I was in the past is not really feasible. I don't think at this stage. So just a transition to still be able to minister and reach people. And talk about topics and issues that are like current and what's going on with the culture. Is like, you know, you're giving me a space to still do what I feel like God is calling me to do, just in another way. You know, sometimes you got to pivot. You know, sometimes you'll do something for a certain season, and sometimes when that season is up, it's not that God is done with you. It's just God is trying to use you in a different capacity. You know, so you can't rock forever. You know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to be a part of what you all are doing, and so it's helped me in a lot of different ways.
Nah, man, that's good, man. But at the same time, like you may not be rapping as you, like you said, you used to, but you're still doing tours. You still, I remember you telling me like, man, I'm going on tour for this, I'm going on tour for that, and you know, you're still coming out with songs and music and stuff. So you know, God can still use those things. You know what I mean? But it may be like you said, in the season of pivoting and doing that now it could be, because I think I remember you telling me that you sometimes preach too. So
I've been doing preaching lately as well.
Got you. So so sometimes it's time for seeing what God had for you in this season. Not saying that season is done, but it may be time for, like, you know what I mean? Because I know I used to be a DJ where I would DJ and at different parties, events, church stuff, and everything. And now I'm more content at. I mean, I don't mind DJing. I think the last time I DJ like a wedding was like a couple years ago, but I don't mind doing it. But I'm feel more comfortable doing stuff like this, and my business, Creative Air. You know what I mean, with my wife. So I mean, I get it. You know what I mean. So I understand that wholeheartedly, bro. So, brother, are you ready for your this or that? Are you ready for that, man?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right, here we go. Plain James, this or that. Decatur or Lithonia? Which one you got?
Which one is what I think is the best? Yeah,
which one would you like that you would choose if somebody say, "Hey, man, I'm going to Decatur or Lithonia"? Which one would you tell them, like, man, you need to go there?
Man, no shade to either one. I got love for both. I say Decatur though. It's more to do in Decatur for sure.
Got you. South DeKalb Mall or Stonecrest Mall?
Man, see, currently right now.
Yeah.
Currently right now, I say Stonecrest because South DeKalb ain't it no more. It was the time when South DeKalb was like, that was the mall. That's the mall I grew up in. But right now, I say Stonecrest.
Got you. Outkast or UGK?
Man, boy. You know what's so hard about this? You know what's so hard about this? My favorite group of all time is Outkast.
Yeah.
My favorite rapper of all time is Pimp C.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go Outkast. I'm from Atlanta, though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay. Waffle House or JJ's Fish and Chicken?
Ooh, hey man, you snap with these questions, boy. These tough right here, boy. So that steak and eggs at Waffle House undefeated, but that JJ is too, though. Ain't no tossing emails either.
Well, here's the thing: if you can't, I'll say this: if you say both, then the only thing I ask is show the love of God to somebody this week. Spread Jesus' name to somebody this week.
I'm gonna have to witness, nigga. I can't pick between them two.
All right, a fresh fit or some new gym shoes.
New shoes for me because I could wear. Y'all know how I wear t-shirts and jeans, but my shoes and my hat got to be clean.
Got you. Okay. Trap Theology or Trap Theology 2? I'm talking about albums.
Oh, Trap Theology 2. I think that's probably Trap Theology 2. Probably, in my opinion, the second best album I put out.
Got you. Okay, getting a verse back. Like you call somebody, hey man, I need a verse for this. All right. Fro or T-Strike?
Definitely Fro.
Okay.
He gonna send it back, but T-Strike, man, that boy there. That boy trying. You gotta call him. Remind my bad, Rose, man. I mean, I'm gonna get on it tonight, man. Fro, man, Fro gonna knock that mug out same week, man.
Got you. Okay. All right, these are your songs: Limelight or I Learned.
I'm gonna go with. I love both of those, man. I'm gonna go with Limelight on there. That was the lesson to have Noah and Eshawn on that record. Eshawn, my favorite Christian artist. You know, so
really. Oh wow, that's dope, bro. Performing in churches or community centers?
Community center.
Really?
Yeah, man. Ain't nothing wrong with a church, but I like to share it outside the walls, man. Because it's like in the church, it's like people need ministry in the church too. I hate when people say, man, the church don't need it. It's people in the church who need ministry as well. So I don't think you don't need it there. But me personally, God has given me a heart for the ministry outside. You know what I'm saying? So
got you. All right, man. My last one. Are you a Christian rapper or a rapper who's Christian?
Man, I'm a Christian rapper, man. The reason why I'm a Christian rapper is like I feel like I done seen what secular rap look like. I seen what that world looks like, and the only reason I'm doing this now is to give glory to God. You know, I don't, and not to take no shot at nobody else, but I don't put the art form over the one who gave me the ability.
Got you.
So anything I do to give God glory. So if I'm rapping, it's gonna be the gospel.
Got you. Okay. Plain, thank you so much, bro. Thank you, man. I had a great time. Amazing story. Give them your socials, bro. How people can get in contact with you, reach out to you, and everything.
For sure. If you follow me on IG, it's at Plain James. That's PLAIN James DW. You can also follow me at Trap Theology. I do weekly devotional. It was daily, but now it's like weekly devotionals. You'll see that on my page. I also have all the devotionals strictly on one page called Organic Ministries. But you'll see all that on my main IG, Plain James DW. I'm on Track Stars every Saturday from 12 to 2 Eastern Time. My bro DJ Jeremiah, Ryan and Sean, Shanae, Jerry, whoever shows up that particular week. I got all my music, man. Apple Music, Spotify, you name it. Any DSP that you, any streaming platform that you're looking at, I got music on there. I got a new single coming soon featuring Dre Murray called Atlanta to Houston. I'm getting the artwork and stuff done now. So that could be out sometime early next month. Other than that, man, just out here just sharing the word, man. I'm on TikTok too, Trap Theology on TikTok. But you have any Bible questions, any prayer, anything you need, hit me up. Oh yeah, and I'm about to start, man. I've been inspired by Jeremiah and some others. I'm going to start doing like a discipleship type thing. I'm gonna put together like a little discipleship type show, like a little quick 30-minute disciple once a week discipleship. Wow. I'm gonna do online. I'm gonna do it on YouTube. Put it on YouTube as well. So almost like, I guess you can call it a discipleship podcast if that's what it's gonna be. But I'm trying to get my presentation right. I don't want to come out here looking like I'm just in, you know what I'm saying, just halfway. Yeah, man, I just want to take some stuff from the Bible, man, some stories from the Bible or some scriptures, and just interpret it in the language that people can understand and kind of just put away some myths and some misunderstandings people have about scripture. So,
Got you.
That's the goal. Trap Theology, man. We're gonna try to just take the word, make it plain.
Dope, bro. Thank you so much, man. Kingdom Citizens, remember Kingdom Ox on all the platforms. Follow Plain James. Got good ministry, good heart, and he give you that wisdom, that word, everything, man. Go listen to his music as well. If you like, hey, I just got on to Plain James, you may need to go back to some other stuff because he got some bangers from back in the day to go check out. You know what I mean? Young OG in the building. All right, man. Kingdom Citizens, we are out.